So if you're just getting into fitness for the first time, there's a good chance you have a low level of strength and a higher body weight. Although there are equally easy push-up variations, there's absolutely nothing wrong with building up your coordination, strength, and confidence using weights first. Straight pushing movements done with free weights or on cable machines will help. Just make sure to focus on keeping your core tight even when you're lying on a bench, as this will help you build stability as you transition into push-ups. The wall push-up is the absolute easiest variation of a push-up you can do. Just set your hands firmly against the solid wall, make sure your feet are squared up evenly, and you're good to go. But as a first variation, this is where a lot of mistakes will emerge. Common beginner mistakes include pivoting at your hips as you bend forward, dropping your hips too much, or letting the elbows flare out to the side. You want to keep a straight line throughout your entire body from your heels to your shoulders, and make sure the elbows are tucked in by your sides in line with your wrist. A similar but slightly more effective variation are elevated push-ups. The common form issues from wall push-ups carry over here. Pivoting forward from your hips, letting your hips drop, and flaring out the elbows. But foot placement matters more here. If you're standing too close to the bar, it'll come into your stomach. If you're standing too far away, then it'll come up towards your neck. You want to find a foot placement where the bar is in line with your chest. You can find this easiest from starting in the lower position, lining up your chest, and then pushing from there. You can use all sorts of surfaces to push off of, like a bench, box, or table, but I prefer using bars, as using bars lets us achieve more natural movement at a steeper angle than possible with the wall push-up. Another major upside to using a bar in a squat rack to do these is that you can drop the bar lower and lower at controlled increments to gradually increase the resistance level. And you can keep dropping it further and further until you're nearly against the ground. Once you've gotten low enough with bar push-ups, you're ready to jump to the real deal, the floor push-up. Major issues here are doing half reps. You see a lot of people drop down very slightly to get the rep count up, and they're not going all the way down. You want to avoid this, but the same form rules apply here as before. Feet straight back, body in a straight line from your shoulders to your heels, no flared elbows, and reaching at least a 90-degree bend as you drop down. On the topic of push-up depth, you can perform decline push-ups with a set of dumbbells like these. This helps you drop your chest lower, achieving a deeper stretch through your muscles. While this serves as an advanced variation, using this format is also used for people with larger chests or stomachs, who can't reach a 90-degree bend without their body bumping into the ground. While I prefer using dumbbells as they keep your wrists straight, you can use any solid object to raise up your hands, like foam blocks. If you're looking for something more hardcore or you lack equipment, you can also use just your fists, though be aware that the skin on your knuckles is going to show for it. This one isn't necessarily a requirement on the path to a one-arm push-up, but decline push-ups are another iconic and easy way to step up from floor push-ups. You're adding a bit more resistance and depth while slightly changing how you're targeting your muscles. Now we're getting to more advanced territory. Archer push-ups are the first step to isolating movements into one arm. You want your arm slightly wider than normal, and you're dropping down from one side to the other so that one arm is close and the other is further out. You want to make sure that you're focusing your pushing through the one arm that's closer to you. Now the wider you go, the less the supporting arm can help the primary one, making it more difficult. If you bring them in close, you're making it easier as that supporting arm can help the primary arm push more. Now the last step before you get to a full one-arm push-up is the assisted or pseudo one-arm push-up. The form here is different than in other previous variation. It is absolutely necessary that you have a wider footing to achieve proper form. Prop up your supporting arm out to the side and drop into the pushing arm. As you push up, concentrate your balance and your effort through the working arm and avoid twisting your body. You can bring the support closer to you to make it easier, or move it further away to increase difficulty. Just make sure that you do place it further away, you're not leaning into it or taking any of the balance or weight off the pushing arm. You always want to avoid shifting your weight towards the supporting arm, as that's going to change the dynamic of the motion from a pseudo one-arm push-up into something more like an archer push-up. And now we're on to the one-arm push-up, which in my opinion is the most frequently improperly done movement in calisthenics. To do it right, you need a stable base with a wide foot stance. Your pushing arm should be close by your side, but not any further in than shoulders width apart. And most importantly, your shoulders should stay level as you drop down to the floor, keeping your chest squared up with the ground. Ineffective, easier, and dangerous imitations include twisting the spine so that the other shoulder is in the air and dropping the hips to the side. These mistakes are more common when you try to keep your feet tight together, as it's impossible to achieve balance without them. If you try keeping level shoulders with tight feet in proper form, you'll immediately fall. It's just physics. There are videos where it looks like someone is close to perfect form with tight feet, but be aware that they're usually either wearing baggy shirt to hide their form, or their feet are placed up against a wall, making it possible to keep a tighter foot placement. When you push, you want everything to move in an ergonomic, efficient way according to human biomechanics. The one-arm push-up is meant to be a chest exercise and should work like any other push-up. We push efficiently through our chest by sticking our arm right out in front of us and keeping our joints aligned up straight. Twisting your spine and throwing out your hips can lead to unnecessary strain, particularly around the upper neck, and can result in injury. You might need to start with really wide feet and take your time to play around with proper positioning, and that's okay. A bonus variation of the push-up that's a bit harder than the one-arm push-up, and it's a personal favorite of mine, is the ring push-up. Make sure you have a solid set of rings before attempting this, and you should build up to them through knee push-ups first. I'll make a separate video on the progressions later, but this is a great exercise for building up wrist stability and strength. That's all for now, but check the description for extra details. Thanks for watching and have a rewarding day.